Hello everyone and welcome to another VOD review, and today we've got a Bronze 5 Baptiste player on Esperanza. So I'm excited about this one because one, I haven't played or watched a bronze game of Overwatch 2 at all yet. So I'm excited to see what a bronze game in Overwatch 2 looks like. But on top of that, I haven't done a push map review ever. This will be my first push map review. And in terms of the push maps, there's a couple things that I think people don't take into consideration all the time that I'm curious if I can point out here. Specifically, like, say, for example, if you get a really strong push, but you don't quite get it all the way, and then the enemy team starts kind of reclaiming it, but then you get the robot back, maybe not pushing the robot back to the enemy spawn and just playing like a keep away, something like that. I'm not sure if I'll be able to point that out here or not. But and then the other thing too is I've personally felt like this is my worst push map out of the three of them. This one is the one that I feel like I lose the most on. So I'm trying to get as much time on this map as I can. So I was looking to do a VOD review on this. So I'm excited to see what I'll actually be able to see here. And then I haven't done a VOD review on Baptiste in a while either. So I was looking to get away from the Mercies and the Annas and Kirikos and get into some of these other support heroes a little bit. So without further ado, let's see what we get here.
Another day, another battlefield.
All right, so game's about to start and my pen's not loaded. Let me get that up. There we go. All right, so we have, okay, you're on team 1. I'm used to everybody being on team 2 for some reason. So Baptiste. All right, so the one thing I'm going to say is, so the Mercy is going to pocket the Pharah. So you're essentially responsible for these two guys and yourself. So you're so if you think you can heal Hammond and Cassidy as Baptiste, then I'm fine with this pick. Just don't feel like you need to be chucking your heal grenades up to healing the Pharah and the Mercy, especially in a bronze level game. As you get a little higher up, if you notice the Pharah kind of hovering by a wall, you might be able to splash her with a grenade here and there. Or when she's ulting, you might be able to get a grenade off. But generally speaking, who I've highlighted, that's who you should be focused on. And then as Baptiste, the other thing that you should be focused on is being able to get a little extra damage out. You're a pseudo DPS, but that can issue out quite a bit of healing and saving with like lamp and shift and so forth. Be a little bit closer to the door
ready for battle
when you're about to start, because you just put yourself behind. So like you're kind of like AFK'd in the little courtyard there. Get right to the door, kind of like what the rest of your team was doing. Not sure why the Mercy stopped now. So one thing I'll say on push maps, it's very important to win that first fight. So don't be the reason your team doesn't win that first fight, being laid out of spawn or getting picked early. Especially as a support, you gotta live the longest. So okay, let's unpack what's happening here. So let's get a little further back. So, okay, you know the first fight always happens somewhere in here or somewhere over here. What does Baptiste do if you hold down the duck button? You shoot up. And guess what's up here? There is a nice little high ground for you right up here that you could be. And you can be raining down healing here or here. That's where you should be right now. So you go there, and it's fine to take a pot shot, but then you just leave it. Why are you leaving it? You were where you were supposed to be. don't leave that spot. If you are going to leave that spot, I would be going, first of all, I wouldn't have left that spot, but if I'm going to leave it, I would be going either down there or over here. Because then your Mercy can heal you, you're kind of by your Cassidy, you're by your tank, that sort of a thing. But that like kind of mid-ground area, that's where you really should be. And then you get yourself into trouble. The lamp is gone. You just tried to heal the enemy. Healing there. You should be healing the Cassidy, not trying to shoot Moira. If Moira were really low, then your decision to try to shoot the Moira would have been okay. But right there, healing Cassidy would have been more important. And then also your aiming accuracy on getting both the damage shot on Moira, but also more importantly, that healing grenade that missed. So you got to aim that a little higher up. And now you're in trouble. So this is the DPS Moira conundrum that everybody complains about. So in a lower ranked game, when the mechanical skills aren't the strongest, a Moira can dive bomb an enemy support. And if the team doesn't peel for the Baptiste here, the Baptiste is in trouble because his mechanical skills aren't good enough to deal with this Moira. And then she gets the kill. And thus the DPS Moira is born. The problem with the DPS Moira is as you climb out of the lower ranks doing what she just did, this no longer works. Because one, this Baptiste would have the mechanical skills to punish the Moira, or the team would be communicating and peeling for the Baptiste and then the Moira dies. Or three, it's a mixture of both. Like maybe you get her low and then you got to reload, but then the Hammond comes and finishes her off or something like that. But anyway, this is how DPS Moiras are born.
Strike together.
It's not over yet.
Let's fast forward.
They're ahead of us. We need to make a crowd.
Completely healed.
Okay, so nothing that I'm really seeing too bad here. Yeah, heal him. Okay, move up. You're healing people that are full health. Move up. Now, you're going to have a hard time healing this Hammond, but one thing I want to point out is Hammond's responsibility, if you're going to play Hammond, is to know where health packs are and have a bit of a rotation between going into fights, doing your pile drive, getting out, going to health packs, coming back in. Your role in that should be throwing out some healing grenades when he's engaging in the fight. Like right here, for example, is the perfect time to be getting some healing grenades out to him. Don't chase the Hammond because unless he stays by you, but don't chase him. Let him get his health packs. Just throw the healing out when you've got the opportunity to do it. Like right here, you have the opportunity to do it. And then on top of that, you are missing the Zarya and you should be aiming a little bit higher. Go for headshots, not so much body shots. Headshots do so much more damage as a Baptiste. If you're going to play a skill hero that gets a bonus from landing a headshot, you know, like Moira, for example, can't land a headshot. Symmetra can't land a headshot, just as examples. But with Baptiste, you're a hit scan. You can land headshots. You'll do a lot more damage, and you'll be a lot deadlier as Baptiste if you're aiming for the headshot a little bit more, or at least a little closer to center mass so that you might accidentally land a headshot here and there.
I thought you needed a help.
So I don't know if I would have done the shift there. I just would have been focused on healing, just throwing out your grenades. I don't save the shift more for when you're being attacked or if you're running out of ammo and your team is still taking damage, that sort of a thing.
That's not good. Don't let them push.
Also, I should say too, if you're playing with a Pharah and Mercy and they both start getting low and you're in the range of being able to shift heal them, that could be another good advantageous thing because you're gonna struggle landing healing grenades on those two characters. So I don't know if you're calling out the Moira or not. If you're not, get in the habit of doing that. So like right there, the Cassidy peeled for you. That's good. That punishes a DPS Moira and makes it not work. And if that came from you calling it out, even better. If not, start doing that. Pinging can be helpful too, but you will get people in your lobbies that are like, oh, you should have called it out, rather than paying attention to a ping. Unfortunately, it's just how some people are.
Doctor's orders.
And I get that in Diamond and Master games all the time, where if you're not calling it out on a microphone, they just don't pay attention to it, regardless of if it gets pinged or not. So that doesn't go away. So pinging and okay, wait a minute now. So to finish the thought, pinging and calling it out on the microphone, two things just get in the habit of. If you're doing one or the other, it might not be enough. It's the nature of the beast. Now, to go into right here, you're getting into a frontlining situation and it's bad positioning. So right here, you're fine. This is all fine right here. So you see the Reaper coming up here. Now, if this were me, I would ping this because it'll give the icon. It's the Reaper icon for teleport. So people should know that, oh, Reaper just teleported up there. He's now a diveable character for Hammond, for Pharah, for you to some extent. But you, right now, should be making space away from that Reaper and getting away from this spot because the Reaper's probably going to come for you. Might go for the Pharah, but probably you. So right now, your team is in full retreat. You need to get out. On top of that, they've got the robot. So like this right here, you should be full tuck tail running a full 90 degrees the other way. Or 180, I mean, sorry.
Let's get you all.
So good shot on the Pharah.
Let them up.
Good shot on the Zarya. So I'm okay with that window. The only thing that I probably would have done differently is instead of like putting it right here, what I probably would have looked to do is maybe like have it right here so that your teammates might be able to utilize it too. But if you're able to get good consistent damage through your window just by yourself, it's fine to use it as a solo ult for yourself. I would definitely not dock you for doing that, and you got that kind of value out of this window. And it's very important to win as many team fights as you can, so you're not holding your window on a push. And I'm specifically talking on the push maps when I say that. So in this instance, I think this was a good usage of your window because you got a pick through it. You can also heal through your window and get a boost of heal. So say, for example, let's just pretend that your Hammond's really low and you start throwing some heal grenades out this window. You get a heal boost through that. So I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but make sure you're doing that too. But any advantage you can get on a push map, do it. Don't, if you're in a full-on team fight, use ultimates, get as much of a snowball effect going as you can get on a push map. And that's what you did, so good job. So right here, I like this positioning for the most part. Okay, so yeah, you're hovering around the Reaper. You clearly see him coming. He's right in front of you. So there's two things you could do here that so actually three things. first of all, you're not looking at the Reaper, who's right there. So you could have landed a couple shots on him before he even teleports to you and make him low, and then he'll probably just wraith away from you the second he comes out of his teleport. But since you missed that, the two things you can do is, one, either run away, run toward your tank and run toward the robot, which will give you some cover. And it doesn't really seem like there's much of a firefight going on in this vicinity down here. The other thing that you could do is you could throw your lamp, and then you and the Cassidy could probably finish off the Reaper or just make him run away. But what you're doing here is you kind of just hover right around where he's coming out. It's like you almost aren't sure what to do. Oh, but Cassidy finished him off really quick, so ended up not being an issue, but... Okay, so right there, Lamp would have been great, too. So, considering you didn't use it on the Reaper, yeah, right here would have been great, because the DPS Moira is back. Your Cassidy is getting pretty low, but you've got plenty of time to throw the lamp down and save him, and then that would buy you time to either heal him or just start shooting at the Moira and making her retreat, because she's not going to be able to kill the lamp super quickly, and it'll give you an opportunity to do a little bit of both. Honestly, you could land a grenade on the Cassidy and then just start shooting on the Moira, but to retreat there wasn't the move. That you could have saved. That Cassidy death is on you. So yeah, the lamp here isn't going to do anything. The lamp was needed on the Cassidy or throwing it down on the Reaper, but because you didn't do it on the Reaper, it needed to be on the Moira. So, yeah, right here, you're in trouble. So, let's unpack... Whoa, what happened? Why did it do that? Okay, we're back. So right here, you see Reaper, and Zarya is about to show herself. You shouldn't be picking this close of a fight to Reaper if you can help it, and since you're just coming out of spawn, you can kind of help it. I would either be trying to retreat to my team or retreating backwards, one or the other, depending on what you feel more comfortable with here. But your Pharah just died, and your Hammond is low. Not that I don't think you're aware of that at the moment, though. So the Reaper's actually ignoring you, which is a little odd. I'm not really sure why he didn't choose to fight you instead. But the Zarya is... This is a fight you are not going to win. Tanks do not die in Overwatch 2 until everyone around them is dead. So you gotta get totally out of this fight. And at this point your whole team is dead, so now you're just in a stagger. So now you basically what you gotta do is either hide until you can kind of circle back to your team or find a quick way to die. You're going the hide route, which I'm fine with. And it looks like you found a good route back to your team, which is completely okay by me. However, you should be waiting about right here, and then wait for your team. Where's my pen? So your team's coming out of spawn right here. They got to come down, because the robot and the enemy team is right around this corner. So don't reveal yourself around here until your team's pushing in. And then you can reveal yourself and start healing and whatever. But you got to wait for that fight to actually start happening and engaging first. Because what you're about to do is put yourself right on the front line in front of 3 enemies. And you're right back in that fight with the Zarya you just ran away from. And your team isn't even coming in this direction. They're still going that way, which honestly is a bit of a mistake. They should be coming down here and around here, and this is where the fight should be. Which I think is what you were expecting, and you were right to expect that. This is a team mistake, but you're revealing yourself way too early. Now, good use of your mobility jump to kind of get away from the Zarya, though. I expected the Zarya to get that pick on you. I'm guessing she just doesn't have much charge, and you were able to get away from that. So good job there. But what I say, I still feel like stands. And your team needs to be coming around here, and I'm still not convinced they're going to do that. Oh, they are. Okay.
Someone has to keep you alive.
Okay, good heals on the Hammond. Good accuracy on him for the most part, too, there. So, for some reason, you're throwing out healing grenades at the enemy. I'm not really sure why or, like, what is happening, like, mentally for you to do that. Maybe you're just still a little new to the character and you're... I don't know, but get out of the habit of wasting that, because it's probably affecting your aiming rhythm and your tracking a little bit too, so you gotta kind of get away from that. And then on top of that, like, you're losing ammo. So right here, you should be healing Hammond. You did the shift, which is fine, but you should be focused on getting out of line of sight of the enemy and then topping your Hammond off. That'll be good ult charge too, because once you heal him, you're gonna have your ultimate. You could back up a little bit, and then you could window, and you've got a large clearing that you could be shooting into the enemy with. So that's what I'd be looking at doing here. See, now your Mercy, like, she put herself in harm's way a little bit. What I'd like to see the Mercy be doing is being up there with the Cassidy. And not even being over here at all. Your job is to heal the Hammond. It's not her job in this circumstance. She should be with the Cassidy. You could lamp this to try to save her, but you're not going to. I can just tell from where you're aiming at. It's not going to happen. Yeah. So a lamp there might have been able to keep her going, but I'm not really sure what would have actually... You know, she could have healed you and you might have been able to DPS your way out of it, but until your team comes back. But your team's kind of just doing their own thing here.
How about I try that again?
And then we threw lamp there for some reason, so you're not going to have that for 20 something seconds. So that's not good. My guess is maybe a fat finger on the W. So right here, it's okay to poke a little bit, but think of it this way. You've already got your ultimate. You're not going to actually kill anything by poking there. You risk the opportunity of being sniped if you were going against different characters, and you're just building ult charge for their healers who actually don't have ult. So the Brig and the Moira get ult charge off of that when they heal them. So poking is okay when you need ult charge for something, but you've already got your ult, so kind of pointless to do that. And you're actually kind of... That's kind of the definition of something they call feeding, because you're feeding the enemy healers there. Is it the end of the world? No, but just, you know, it's something to keep in mind. So I would probably be windowing here, because you're already DPSing anyway, so why not just shoot through the window? And then if you had, oh, you do have your lamp, so you could have, so the thing that I do too is when I throw the window down, I'll throw my lamp down as soon as I notice anybody starts shooting at me, just so then that way I get full usage of the window. And then also use your shift. You didn't even heal yourself. You could have kept yourself going a bit, and it would have bought you time to throw the lamp down. So make sure you're using your abilities, because right there you did not.
It's not over yet.
So here, we're just, this is an accuracy problem. We're just missing shots. We're not getting value. This lamp kind of not great because it's only going to affect line of sight of this door path because you put it in the door frame. At least I think you did. So anybody standing over here or over there, they're not going to get it. On top of that, you're not low. And they're savable just from you healing them. So this is not a good lamp.
Everyone's getting better.
And then you did your shift in the room. So only people in the room would have gotten it. He didn't get it. So if you would have stood like right here, then he would have gotten it. So this is a positioning problem. And you're just footsteps away from being in a good position too, which is... So because the Bastion walked in... Oh, maybe he did get it, actually. I don't know. Maybe he did. Actually, let's rewind this. Did he get it? Let's watch it from the Bastion's perspective once. I'm curious if he actually got that or not. I didn't think he did, but maybe he did. No, he did not get it. Okay. So I was right. He did not get that. All right. So you're doing the correct thing here. You're healing the Bastion, although you get kind of hung up on where you're going. That's just knowing the map. You need to know the maps like the back of your hand. And the reason why I use the term back of your hand, because in a situation like that, you're just backing up and you need to know how to back up and not get hung up on things. It's hard to do. I say that like it's easy, but there's so much random stuff on some of these Overwatch maps that you get hung up on things. But the more you know a map where you can just keep backing up and stay moving, the better you'll find yourself. And that's a perfect situation of that. Once you got hung up on an object that was on the map, you got flustered and it just kind of all fell apart. And you were about to run out of ammo, and I don't know if it was really all that savable anyway, but you're going to run into other circumstances that are going to be similar to that. So knowing the maps and being able to back your way through them without seeing them, that's important. So right now you're frontlining. You were like in autopilot mode coming out of spawn here. Knowing your front line, I went back too far. So right here, you're like in autopilot mode. You don't know where your front line is. And neither does your Bastion, I don't think, either. Because, like, you guys should basically be, like, chilling right here. Waiting, or even in here would be okay, or in here would be okay. But you should not be going this way right now, because they are all alive. You have 2 down, and on top of that, I don't even know where your mercy is, so you're going in 2 versus 5. And this just shows a general lack of understanding of what's happening in the game. So Bastion sees this and tucks tails and runs away, which, I mean, I guess is okay, but he should have just known that this was coming anyway. But you, on the other hand, are like, you're ready to just take him on, and then you're like, wait, I can't do that. And now you're trying to get away, and you're kind of fumbling with the jump ability. You don't need a full charge of a jump to get up here, by the way. You probably could have gotten up here with like half of a charge. And now you're using abilities to save yourself from poor positioning, something you just didn't need to do. And then the Moira jumps up here, and we've got our DPS Moira back again. And poor positioning, poor mechanical skills, and a lack of team, I won't even say team awareness, because the team's respawning and the team fight hasn't even started yet. This is just more about you being somewhere you shouldn't be. See, like, if you stayed where you're at now and they dove you, like, now you could be using your shift and retreating to spawn. Your team's going to be coming back out of spawn to help you. This is where, this right here was basically where the team fight, your next team fight was meant to happen at. So understanding like where to fight at and where your new front lines are going to be are kind of important. Make sure you're not shooting bubbles either. Okay, lamp that. Lamp, you got to lamp the Pharah here. Okay, healing was enough. The Zarya, I don't think... See, here's one thing that I don't know if it's poor Zarya play on the enemy or if your team's just doing a good job not shooting Zarya bubbles, but in a lot of Zarya games prior to the nerf she's about to receive, enemy Zaryas tend to have a lot of charge, and she should have killed that Pharah. My guess is she doesn't have much charge, and that's why that you were just able to out-heal the damage coming her way. In better games, like higher tier games where you're playing against better players, that Zarya would have had more charge, and then she would have killed that Pharah. So that's kind of just a poor ult by the Zarya because she either didn't have the team with her to capitalize on that ult, or she didn't have the charge to capitalize on her own ultimate. If she had charge, that Pharah would have died had you not lamped. So right now you're just healing nothing. You're just hoping splash healing would do something, but you're just wasting. You're really struggling to heal the Hammond, and I get that Hammond's not the easiest hero in the tank pool to be healing as Baptiste. So I'm going to offer just an alternative suggestion. The one healer I like, there's two healers actually that I like to play with a Hammond. One is Brigitte and two is Zenyatta. Zenyatta orbs, leaving them on Hammond, and then just having him roaming around for health packs with the Zen orb should theoretically be enough. And if it's not enough, then it's probably more on the Hammond swapping. So if you find yourself struggling to heal the Hammond on Baptiste in future games, maybe consider Zen or Brig, because Brig can throw armor packs at him and keep him going. Meanwhile, when you get your mace to, do the inspire healing, that can both help the Hammond and the people around you. And then Zen Orb can be, cast around to different people when the Hammond doesn't need it. But those would be the two other healers I would suggest. Mercy can be okay with it too, but I would say Zen and Brig.
A round of healing. Doctor's orders.
And the other thing I want to add is you have been hanging on to this window for a long time. Now, I'm not saying use it here, but you should be looking for a time to use it. Because you guys got to start winning some team fights. Now might be a good time to use it. You got 3 people in front of you. You've got a pretty wide open area where you could land some shots off. This might be a good time to use it just right here. Throwing it right in this vicinity right here, somewhere in there. I'd probably be looking at using it.
Let them up.
Okay, so I like the idea of it, but I would have done it more in this area because you've lost some real estate right there. And on top of that, let's clear some of the clutter. So you've got the robot, for example, right here. And then they've got that little gazebo thingy right there. So they've got some areas to hide from your window. Whereas if you shifted it over more, you'll have more real estate and more little lanes to be shooting out of. So keep that in mind. But I like the general idea you have here.
They took the robot. We need to attack.
Stay alive for me. Get into the field.
I'm gonna back up a second.
Let them up.
I don't know if that was a bug with the replay. I lost your reticle for some reason. It wasn't showing up. All right. Anyway, so shoot at the Baptiste. Right now you can't do any. Okay. Well, actually, you got Moira in front of you. Yeah, hit her. So, okay, the only problem with this window, aside from maybe having it moved up a little bit, it's all just your mechanical skills. You're just not hitting shots. Had you have moved it up a little bit, that Bastion might have been able to take advantage of it too. So sometimes it's okay to use it for just yourself. Other times you might want to put it in a spot for like your Bastion to shoot through it, because he could have gone through turret mode and he could have been raining down on these guys a bit, and you might have gotten more value out of it here. But now that everybody's kind of shooting at you because you guys have pretty much lost or in full retreat on this team fight, either lamp or I would shift first and then even be throwing the lamp out in front of you to walk through it as a retreat, which is okay. You do that. Lamp, you might not have actually needed the lamp right there. You got to get with your team because yeah, and I think that's what you're trying to do. Healing, okay. Healing, the Mercy's low. Yeah, so you've got your shift. You should have used it. Shift would have been great there because your Mercy was low. She ended up getting away because the Moira went for you, but you could have helped yourself a little bit there. And oh boy. Yep. And then she dies, killing you. I don't know if that was the greatest of reses there, and then you just died anyway. So this again is a situation of just using your abilities.
Heroes never die.
Shut up, perish.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're doing here. I don't know if you thought there was another door to go out of or not, but yeah, I mean, I think there is on the really far side, but this is pretty much the door you gotta come out of, considering what's going on right now. Yeah, right now you gotta just focus on healing that Hammond, not so much DPSing on Moira, because you're not really landing the shots anyway. That lamp was late. That lamp should have came out a little earlier. Yeah, this. So let's rewind just a little bit. So, all right, let's wait for you to respawn here.
Don't let them push.
So, all right, Hammond. In fairness, Hammond should come into spawn and heal himself. He shouldn't be relying on you or Mercy to heal him right now, because you guys are in a emergency situation. He just needs to get to full health.
You look like you needed a hand.
Now, since he's not doing that, you need to be in full emergency oh crap mode. Hammond needs all the HP he can possibly get. I don't know why Mercy's trying to heal you, but shifting to heal the Mercy while keeping your grenades on Hammond would have been the play here. I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check that.
You look like you needed a hand.
So, okay. So what I would have done is, because there's a high noon going on, you could lamp yourself. For some reason I didn't pick up on the high noon right away. But if they're high nooning, you lamp, you're not going to die. You're going to save your Mercy. Then you shift, you heal yourself and the Mercy back up, and you keep the Hammond going again. You keep him as aggressive as possible, because now he dies and now there's nobody contesting. So right now, yeah, you're doing the right thing right now under the circumstances, but you could have prevented everybody just being stuck in their spawn. So right now, what I would be looking at doing is I would probably be throwing the lamp out on Bastion so that he can fight the Reaper, and then focus on healing both the Hammond and the Bastion, maybe just alternating shots depending on what happens here. But you got to keep this Hammond as full of health as humanly possible, because he's the only thing keeping that game alive. I wouldn't be doing any damage here whatsoever unless everybody's at full health and you're starting to win the fight. Now, you did get a pick on the Cassie, which is good.
2 minutes remain.
So squeaking out a shot here and there. But yeah, so coming out to save the Bastion would have been the play. Lamping the Bastion. Remember I said lamp Bastion, heal Hammond. But that Bastion did not get the support he needed from you. And right now the Hammond's not getting the support he needs from you because you're not doing enough on the Moira to warrant damaging her versus healing him.
Get in here.
And then again, that lamp is late, and it should have went to the Bastion anyway. And then yeah, this is just, at that point it's over. So
2. Ready for battle.
So in recap, 1, abilities. Make sure you're lamping, shifting, and jumping when you need to be. You were jumping at reasonable times for the most part. Occasionally you overshot or, you know, a little bit, but that'll come with experience more than anything. But you're not lamping and you're not shifting at appropriate times. Sometimes you are, but a lot of time you're not. 2, alt, don't hold it. Look for using it. The window is not something to hold very often. Get it out there. You'll get it back quickly, especially as your accuracy gets better over time. And then 3, your positioning. We talked about your positioning. And then 4 is aim. Your aim needs work. You also put yourself in a rough spot trying to play Baptiste with this team comp. There wasn't... Healing a Hammond as Baptiste can be difficult, even toward higher levels. I mean, would I have been landing more, you know, healing shots on this Hammond than you were? Yeah. Would it have made that much of a difference? I don't know. But Baptiste can have trouble aiming on a Hammond, so it might have been a character choice. You know, and we talked about like Brig, Zen. Now, is playing Zen with a Mercy optimal? Not really. But in this kind of a team count, you might have been able to get away with it because Hammond, a good Hammond goes for health packs. If this one wasn't doing that, then that's not necessarily your fault. But those are some things to consider and think of. In terms of the aiming, what I would suggest maybe doing is going into some custom games and doing like some type of an aim trainer warm-up, and then picking Bastion and just practice on your right clicking, practice on your left clicking, you know, when to right click, when to left click, when to get some shots out, when to be healing. Yeah, I would say do that just to practice a little bit more on your mechanical aiming. So I hope you found this helpful. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching.